A very, very good day to you. I hope you had yourself an amazing, amazing day. This is the Blackout Fire Radio, the media of the 21st century. And of course, this is Dimori. I'm here to talk about each and everything that was happening in Africa today. And we're going to be looking at news from all over. We're going to start with Mozambique. We're going to focus on Mozambique because Mozambique is also what we're going to talk about tomorrow. A lot has been happening in Mozambique, really. Today, at least 3 people died, and the army was deployed. This is after clashes that have been happening in Mozambique. I can say there's been deadly protests after the election results were announced. The president has gone on to try and urge the people to stop the deadly protests because the protests have not been a joke. The president of Mozambique on Tuesday urged for an end to protests against the recent election results. His name is Filipe Nyusi. He said that he believes the protest will only result in destroying the country's infrastructure. Mozambique's defense minister has warned that the military may be deployed to put an end to the unrest, and true to his word, they were deployed. Mozambique has been going through, well, it's not the first time we're having violence in Mozambique. Actually, let me share something on Mozambique because we're going to be talking about Mozambique tomorrow because it's an African country that I have an interest in. Led by Filipe Nyusi, it's a country that's been going from violence to violence to violence, civil war to jihadist attacks, all types of violence. And now, the people are tired and they are out in the streets protesting and asking for, especially the trigger was the election results. Independent candidate Venancio Mondlane, who was backed by a party called the Podemos Party, has been alleging that electoral fraud occurred during the October 9 polls. The casualties up to now are at least 20 people, according to Amnesty International, not the best of sources. The protest began in late October. They're still going on. And the politician who arrived second, according to the poll results, is the one who called for a week of protests that are going to end on Thursday, November 7th. During the 10th day, thousands of demonstrators set fires and barricaded roads in what is the capital of Mozambique, Maputo. Police fired tear gas and rubber bullets, and in the process, 20 people died, and Mozambique's armed forces have been deployed, just like it happened in Kenya a few months ago when the army was deployed on the people, when the people were demonstrating against the 2024 finance bill.
To settle 10 years ago. In Vilanculos, Denis and Sabrina run a hotel and a diving club. This morning, they're waiting for a group of tourists to go out to sea.
Ça se passe bien. On va aller plonger sur les îles là-bas. Donc il y a une petite heure de bateau, il y a 2 plongées, il y a une pause déjeuner sur l'île de Bazaroto. Vous allez voir, c'est absolument extraordinaire. Et bon, c'est de rendre des gens contents comme d'habitude, c'est le boulot.
Today, Denis' customers are French people living in South Africa. Down a few steps and at high tide, they have direct access to the boat and the open sea. Denis' playground, the Bazaruto Archipelago, just opposite the hotel offshore, an exceptional seabed.
On a un trou dans le récif ici, donc c'est un jacuzzi à requins. Si on a de la chance, on les aura.
On my count. 1, 2, 3.
Underwater, a rich diversity. 3/4 of the Indian Ocean species are present in this area. Visitors come from all over the world to experience the thrill of exploring these reefs. As Denis had hoped, the sharks are here. The Bazaruto Islands are classified as a natural park and are protected from mass tourism.
Bienvenue sur Bazaruto.
A snorkeling workshop in crystal clear waters. Denis takes us back to where his adventure first began. It was here that he fell in love with Mozambique.
These are documentary that we're going to be watching tomorrow on the Mozambique war that has been going on over and over again. And of course, the underlying reason is that the reason there has been violence in other African countries too. But now the violence in Mozambique has just, what we're experiencing right now is not violence, it's people out against what they're calling a government that they don't want to see again. It's a government that has been there for years, and nothing has been changing in Mozambique. The cost of the standards of living are still the same. Mozambique is still a very poor country, and apparently they're saying that the president won again. Mozambique is a very poor country. It has a GDP of 20 billion. 20 billion. Zimbabwe is richer than Mozambique. Well, do not confuse Mozambique as a poor country. Mozambique has many minerals in it. It is so much minerally endowed. There is gold there. There is natural gas. It actually has several natural gas reserves. It has coal inside. It has some of the world's largest untapped coal deposits, including high quality cooking coal and thermal coal. In 2020 alone, Mozambique produced over 8 million metric tons of cooking and steam coal. However, the country still has a GDP of 20 billion, not billion, million. That is poorer than, literally, there are people who are more rich than Mozambique. With a GDP of 20 billion, anyway, apart from that, it has graphite. In 2020, Mozambique produced about 12,000 metric tons of graphite. It has titanium. It has apatite. It has marble. It has, literally, I can name the mineral resources that are there in Mozambique for I don't know. It has bentonite. It has large deposits of bentonite. It has sea salt. It has limestone. So actually, the mining industry in Mozambique is the most important it's the backbone of Mozambique's economy. It contributes about 15% of its GDP. 45% of people are employed in the mining industry. However, even after all those years, with the same people leading them, with all the aluminium, the graphite, the marble, the bentonite, the limestone, the gold, Mozambique still has a GDP of 20 billion, I mean. That is why the people of Mozambique are tired. And when they heard that Felipe Nyusi had won, well, they went out into the streets, and they have been in the streets now. Thousands of people were out in the streets yesterday in Mozambique's capital, Maputo, over the outcome of the October 9 presidential election. Security forces responded by firing tear gas and rubber bullets. Internet is being restricted there. Social media sites have been blocked. And the protesters were just asking the police to march with them. Amnesty International, once again, not the best of sources, said that at least hundreds of people have been injured so far and others arrested since the beginning of the protest, that is in late October. The oppositions are being led by opposition leader Venancio Moldane, who came in second in the presidential election, and it's almost the same thing that is happening in Nigeria. Only that Nigerians are more, I don't know how to describe Nigerians, because in Nigeria they are arresting kids who are protesting, and apart from arresting them, they want to have death sentences on those kids. So we're going to be looking at this documentary tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Mozambique on tomorrow's show.
With its beauty and wilderness.
Such a beautiful, beautiful country, such a rich country.
At the top of the dune, a breathtaking view.
Voilà. C'est ça, le délire de la dernière seconde. Regarde, c'est pas magnifique. C'est le vertige, c'est le moment où t'as envie de sauter. Et c'est ici que j'ai pris mon téléphone et que j'ai appelé ma douce et que je lui ai dit écoute, on va s'installer au Mozambique. Quand tu vois un truc pareil, je sais pas si t'as vu ça souvent dans ta vie. Moi non.
A love at first sight for a country that has much hiding behind its beautiful landscapes. Mozambique has a turbulent history. Marked by tragedy, its demons have come back to haunt them. Mozambique, Southeast Africa, 2,500 kilometers long and a population of 30 million. A unique sign to be on a national flag, a Kalashnikov, a symbol of the country's tragic history. They endured a long war of national liberation against the colonial power, Portugal, which led to independence in 1975. The communist guerrillas then came to power. This was followed by a terrible civil war lasting 17 long World Heritage Sites and corrupts. Military, near 800,000 displaced.
Sorry for that.
The refugees have been living in camps for over a year now, where resources are in short supply. The Rwandan military were called in to help. Among the most skilled on the African continent, they succeeded in retaking the Caliphate's soldiers' strongholds in just a few weeks. But peace remains fragile. The enemy is still ever present.
So one thing as kids always say is if you look at if you look at all the countries in Africa that are facing jihadists, the rebels attack and everything, if you look at all of those countries, one thing that you're going to notice in all those countries that face, jihadist attack, they are mineral rich. It always happens in mineral rich countries. You see, those countries that are poor and they do not have minerals, we never have anything of the sort happening. But wait until it's